And I don't know if you know this, but Brazil is an extremely elitist and racist country. Therefore, there are a lot of people who are very, very disturbed that poor people and Black people and indigenous people were getting attention, were getting education, and were really ascending socially. They are having money, they could buy cars, they could buy whatever they want. Their lives improved economically and socially.
Mm-hmm.
So that feeling started right around Lula.
Here we go. E aí, beleza, bem-vindo. What's up, what's good? And welcome to the Brazilian podcast, the unofficial How to Live in Brazil podcast with me, your host, Stephen. And today, as we are reporting live from the Brazilian election, we are joined by the amazing, well-learned, well-spoken, and well-educated Helena from Hell, as her Instagram handle is. Helena, just wanted to say a massive thank you for being part of us and welcome to the Brazilian podcast.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for the invitation and for our chat. It's been amazing.
Or a director.
I've been working with audiovisual also as you. I've been producing for a long time for television also, from foreign TV channels also. I've done some works with BBC, for instance.
Cool.
People in Germany. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. When I was in Rio, I started doing this in a more professional way with the documentary that I made with Isla and Marina. That was called Seeds, Black Women in Power. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
So I wrote that with the directors. Then we developed it as me as a producer, coordinating the production. And we went on. And now I'm working as a researcher and a writer and other stuff too. So yeah, that's pretty much my trajectory. I started as a producer. Now I'm also entering writing and researching, but also producing for the things I want to, or that fulfill me in some kind of way.
Yeah. Cool. What kind of so is it fictional writing that you're doing? Your screenwriting?
Yeah, that too, but my main area of acting and what I really love and what moves me is nonfiction. So pretty much anything nonfiction that I'm very into, I am developing or writing about. Right now I'm doing a research for a collection of books about dictatorship in Brazil. And we're going to do a podcast on it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm doing the research and 6 episodes. Each one will talk about an aspect of dictatorships, because I think my main goal in life is every time make the content available, you know? I'm very petrified of empty cinema rooms.
Right.
I'm petrified of being elitist, doing content and thinking content that only few people would see, or few people will understand, or few people will relate. I think there's also space for that. But for now, I really wish to do to create really products that have a big impact, have a huge reach into the population. That's what I'm aiming for.
Nice. And just going a little bit off topic, but your English is impeccable. So how comes your English is so good?
Thank you.
Why is that?
Much. Well, my parents were parents that were brought up through education. Everything they achieved in life was through education. So they really ascend socially through education, of course, through their own work. So they had this in mind from day one. So I studied in very, very good schools, very, very expensive schools. and one of them was a bilingual school. So I studied English since I was a child, pretty much.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
hear it. You're very fluent. So good.
Thank you.
Cool. So this episode was meant to be about the election and what exactly is going on, the state of the election, and just in terms of the parties that are involved, the candidates. I spoke to somebody a few weeks ago regarding who they supported, and they were Bolsonaro supporters. And, they were explaining why it is that they voted the way they did, what it means to the country, why they wouldn't vote for any other candidate and stuff like that. And do you know who you would vote for in the next election, or do you have like a particular party or way that you vote?
Well, I'm a worker of culture, right? I work with audiovisual, I work with culture, I work with people, I work with narratives. So for me, it has always been voting for someone that advocates for that thinks about that, or wants to put money into it. And normally in Brazil, the left-wing candidates are the ones that have this very, 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 very specifically thought out in their government plans. They are the ones who really think about it, who devote some money and time and perspective thinking about culture and theater and audiovisual and radio and all of that, right? And so my historic in voting has always been around left-wing candidates. But what I think it's very important for me to say here at your podcast is that regardless of my political position in this election, we are dealing with a candidate that advocates for democracy and a candidate that advocates for fascism. Therefore, there isn't a choice, if you know what I mean. It's voting for democracy or voting for fascism. It does not interest who you want to be. I have a lot of friends who would never vote for a left-wing candidate. Even so, Lula, who has a very turbulent past regarding regarding law issues, he went to prison, but that's another story. But they are voting for him because they understand the danger and the problems that Brazil will go through, will endure, if we keep on having a government that flirts and openly accepts fascism as the one that Bolsonaro.
Yeah. Interesting. So you say it's a fight between, or it's a, it's either vote for democracy or fascism. Was it the same 4 years ago? Was it how did Bolsonaro win, or what was the sort of taglines in terms of, where did fascism come from?
Yeah, well, as I said to you before, I'm not a political expert, right? I'm talking out of my own experiences and my knowledge. But what happened pretty much in 2018 was we had a candidate from the Workers' Party, PT, and we had the other candidate, which was Bolsonaro. At the time, he was at a party called PSL. And, well, what happened was during the Dilma Rousseff's government, there was a huge feeling of anti-PT, anti-Workers' Party going on in the country due to many reasons. I don't have the time to talk about.
Yeah, no, I know that she ended up being impeached anyway.
What happened was Lula was the first president. Yeah, but Lula was the first. Well, it all started with Lula's government.
Right.
Lula was the first president who really, really thought about poor people in Brazil, who put poor people in schools, in colleges, and political parties, on power positions, And I don't know if you know this, but Brazil is an extremely elitist and racist country. Therefore, there are a lot of people who were very, very disturbed that poor people and Black people and indigenous people were getting attention, were getting education, and were really ascending socially. They are having money, they could buy cars, they could buy whatever they want. Their lives improved economically and socially. So that feeling started right around Lula. Once Dilma Rousseff entered the power, it just kind of fell apart because she is a very, how can I say it? Contrary to a lot of the people in our Congress, she does not fold to corruption. She would not pay anyone to stay by her side. She's very integrous.
She has a lot of integrity. Yeah.
She has a lot of integrity, exactly. Therefore, she couldn't buy the Senate. She couldn't buy the Congress, and they wouldn't be with her. So she got impeached. That's where we draw the line. You can say a lot of stuff. She did that, she didn't do that, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, she got impeached because she didn't play ball. She didn't play the game. She didn't adapt to what our Congress and our Senate wanted. So that's a problem here also, right? Being a president in a parliamentarism model.
Yeah.
You have to deal with your Congress and your Senate and a lot of people that think very different from you, very different from your party, and have different perspectives on the country. And those people historically have been from the right wing. The same in Colombia, for instance. So you have a lot of people from the right wing that have a lot of money. They come from the countryside, they come from banks, that comes from a lot of places that are not interested in a more just and social equality society. They don't have this. So going back to Dilma and her impeachment, around 2011, 12, I don't know exactly, they started with the Operation Lava Jato. I don't know how to call it in English.
Operation Car Wash.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this operation exactly looked into corruption, right? From Petrobras, which is our oil company, our Brazilian oil company, and a lot of other companies who would be involved into corruption or things like that. But what happened was, this operation is pretty much a scam. And it is. It's not my opinion. It is. If you look through, if you study a little bit, if you read articles, it's a scam. It's pretty much an operation created to arrest people from PT, especially Lula, who would be reelected at 2018, and to demoralize the party. And all of the people from press to judges, to ministers, to those people in the Senate, to those people in Congress, wore the shirt. We are Operation Car Wash. We want the best for Brazil. No more corruption. No more corruption. So what ended up happening was Lula got arrested. Dilma got impeached. And those who have been in power for God knows how many years came back to the power. And why I say this so freely, right? Because
be careful.
Should I be able to say that? No, but why should I be able to say this? Because the same judge that arrested Lula, Sérgio Moro, was the guy who became Minister of Justice in Bolsonaro's government.
It's a happy coincidence.
Yes. And very, very unruly of him as a minister. How come you are the judge and now you become a minister? That's unethical, right? Anti-ethics. It doesn't work.
It's almost like he was
now
rewarded.
he's like a how can I say it? He's very present in government Bolsonaro. Yesterday we had a debate here in one of our networks, right, for the second round. Only the president, and he was there.
What was
he
he
was at
doing?
the studio, I don't know, orienting.
Yeah.
King to Bolsonaro. So how come a man that calls himself a judge, who should be impartial, right? Judges, arrests an ex-president or president at the time, and then becomes the minister of the next president elected, and now he's counseling, he's like talking and orienting the president on his debate on second term. That doesn't sound very judgy to me, very impartial. It sounds very partial.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I kind of explained it, but
no, you explained it pretty well.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. And with Operation Car Wash or Lava Jato and Lula, Dilma being impeached and Lula going to prison, how did that affect public opinion in terms of trusting those politicians? Like, how did people feel about PT and that government?
It affected deeply. Nowadays in Brazil, we have a feeling of anti-PT that is huge. It goes through the roof. People talk absurds, like, I would never vote for PT again. I'd rather not vote for Bolsonaro. I'd rather not vote for anyone, but I will never vote for PT again, which is insane in my perspective, because if you look through his government plan and what he created and what went on their governments, and his and Dilma's, it was the huge development in social areas, in economic areas. No one was feeling down, let's say, in their government. Everyone was contemplated, from the banker to the poor guy that works collecting cardboards. Everyone's lives improved. It's insane. It's studied. He got a lot of awards. He was invited to the UN. He had a lot of meetings with leaders. That we have that classic moment where Obama shakes his hands and calls him the guy. Do you understand? He was a very prominent leader. He was a very good president in the way, or in my perception, as a president should be. But before we had the car wash, because we had the car wash and because we had this coup, that what happened with Dilma, now the feeling of anti-PT is huge and insane in Brazil, which by the facts, if you look the facts, it shouldn't be. So people like Bolsonaro gets ahead, gets the advantage, and also because we are living in the world of fake news, right? Yeah. Fake news, and we have, I don't know in England, but here in Brazil, there was almost like a process of turning media outlets, the traditional ones, into pure rubbish, in a way that you shouldn't rely or trust on them, because they're not bringing you the real information. So there are a lot of people here in Brazil that their only source of information is their WhatsApp, which is insane, because it has no kind of, it has no value, right? No commitment to the truth. Yeah. So we are fighting a very difficult fight, because people are trying to bring out what really happened, the information, the facts. But for a long time, people have been taught to disbelieve those media outlets. So it's pretty much on the daily basis, every day. The last week, Lula went to one of the biggest favelas in Rio. He visited. He went to Complexo do Alemão,
Yeah.
which is a favela in the north zone of Rio, who has been historically very affected by police brutality and violence and whatnot. And he went there. And
I heard about this.
A lot of the community leaders gave him a hat, right? A cap, which had 3 letters on it, which was CPX. Because for those people who live there, CPX is an abbreviation of complexo.
Yeah.
Something like if you would translate complex to CPX, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And he used that hat because someone gave it to him and he represented the place that he was. But the right wing and Bolsonaro and all the machine of bots and fake news people told everyone around them on their WhatsApp, I don't know, thread, that the hat meant like a slang for drug dealers. Instead of being CPX as the abbreviation of the place that he went to, CPX was some kind of slang to mean that you're dealing with a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And that's wrong in so many levels. First of all, it's extremely racist, right? Second of all, you're talking about people that lives in a community, so everyone that lives in that community is a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And 3, do you really think that someone who's running for president would wear a hat that would associate them with drug dealers? So, that's the kind of problem we're dealing here. We have profound issues with fake news.
Yeah.
We have the church, who unfortunately is not an ally. So, I mean, a lot of problems, a lot of external forces, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah. I heard that when he went to Complexo do Alemão, there was an actor that he met, and they were, I don't know, someone in the media put it out that this guy was a gang leader or something like that, but actually he's a famous actor.
Exactly. That's the same story as the hat. You understand?
Yeah.
The guy went to take a photo with him, but because the guy is black and because he lives in an area which people see as a criminalized area, he automatically is a thug.
Yeah.
He's an actor.
It's crazy.
He was there taking a photo. So, so the problem is the real media, the media outlets, the one who have the stamp on credibility, would go on and say, no, this is fake news. This guy's an actor. He did that and that and that. He was there because, I don't know, he wanted to go there and whatnot.
Yeah, support.
But
whatever.
at the same time, people pick this information up and throws around in their network of fake news, and they just create whatever they want.
Yeah.
And because people are so into not believing, they have been taught to not believe the media outlets, and they have been taught to believe in what their church tells them, and what they receive through WhatsApp. You lose contact with reality. You think that what you receive is the truth.